This is Dawn Must Follow Night by Hunter Danson. Part 1, Chapter 21, read by the author. The prelate surveyed the approaching troop of Dindran soldiers. His black eyes could make out their captain and the headsman riding side by side. This wasn't right. Be prepared for anything, he told Mena and Hastus. The company pulled up and reined their horses just inside the gate. The dust kicked up by their hooves drifted forwards and dissipated in front of Mareth and the two instructors. The captain was a fleshy bald man, not 30 full days old. Beads of sweat congealed on his white face and dripped down his ornate armor. Greetings from His Grace the Lord of Dindra, through his loyal servant, Sir Douriff. Sir Douriff made a flourishing bow from horseback. Greetings, Mareth replied. The captain seemed to be expecting more, and there was an awkward silence while the prelate waited for him. Douriff cleared his throat and looked around the yard. Are you alone, prelate? We expected to see your students. No. No? No, I am not alone. I see. The captain shifted in his saddle. Well, we will need a place to make camp. I personally will need somewhere suitable to have my headquarters. I trust you have repaired your study. Mareth looked the captain in the eye and took pleasure in his discomfort. We did not expect such a large contingent of builders, sir. You will have to make camp outside the castle walls. We have cleared our training maze for you. I am sure you will find it suitable, humble though the accommodations may be. He paused. Perhaps you could answer a question of mine. Why did His Grace the Lord of Dindra send a justice? Surely you do not expect to find criminals to execute at Dawn Castle. Of course not. His Grace only wishes all to know that truth and justice follow wherever Dindra goes. I see, Mareth answered. There was definitely more to the headsman's presence, but Mareth knew he was not going to get any more out of Douriff at the moment. Well, we will not trouble you overmuch, the captain said. If you would simply show us to our camp, we can reconvene once it is set. His Grace has a proposition he wishes you to consider. Very well, Mareth said, walking past the captain and out the ruined gate. He turned left and began leading them on the path to the now empty maze arena. Mena and Hastus followed, and the Dindrans after them. They were strung out in a trail as Mareth and the two instructors walked. Sir Douriff followed behind the blades. Mareth could smell his horse and hear as well as feel the steady beat of 400 hooves on the ground. The deep red glow of the sky usurped the dark green tree of Dindra on the captain's breastplate. They reached the large wooden gate that Squad 4 had used to enter the arena on the previous moon. Mareth opened one side, and the two instructors the other. The prelate extended a hand and let the Dindrans pass. The High Justice flashed a smile down as he went through. Mareth examined the procession of knights. They were outfitted with identical equipment consisting of full plate, a long sword, crossbow, and poleaxe, all finely crafted. Mareth knew from the blade's dealings with Dindra that the Lord was wealthy, owing to the discovery and jealous possession of iron mines, which, combined with Lord Lindrel's heavy investment in smelting innovations, made Dindra the highest exporter of steel in the realm. Still, knowing was one thing, and seeing was quite another. He hoped they had spared some for the gate. When the last man had passed through, the prelate closed the door and went back to the castle. It was soon after the moon rose again that a messenger knocked on the door to Mareth's study. He was pale and blond, not much older than the students. He jumped when the prelate's black eyes looked up from the scroll he had been studying. It was a passage from the black letters, some of the earliest writing concerning human contact with the chamber and the rituals performed during the cataclysm. "What is it?" Mareth said. He was used to outsiders staring at his eyes. Sir Douriff requests your presence at his pavilion," the messenger said. "Run ahead and tell him I will be there shortly, Squire." Mareth raised his eyebrows. "Bowen, sir. Pleased to make your acquaintance." "As you say." Mareth went back to studying the passage and waited for the boy to leave. He closed the scroll and locked it in his desk a few moments later, then walked into the red sunrise. He could feel the slight wind as it stirred the hairs on his left hand, resting lightly on the pommel of his saber. His right hand wore a leather glove, partly for wielding his blade, but more to conceal the black discoloration from a severe burn received 70 full days prior. His mind churned, turning the sentence from the black letters over and over, sifting and refining each word until the exact connotations of each verb and noun could be visualized in his mind. It rewards a portion of power, but takes life with rampant greed. The blade nodded at the 2 sentries outside the maze. The Dindrans had a clean and very opulent camp. Unlike some of the encampments that Mareth had seen, the smell of horse dung and human waste was absent. The prelate saw why when a blond page who looked identical to Bowen the messenger went running past, holding a wooden chamber pot as far from his body as his arms permitted. The prelate sidestepped and watched as the page, staring at the black-eyed stranger he had almost run into, collided with the knight just emerging from his tent. The string of curses that proceeded from the knight's mouth was as filthy as the excrement now covering his body. Mareth kept walking. He found Sir Douriff's pavilion at the center of the maze. The captain had commandeered the flagpole and used it to erect a massive circular tent that cost more than the average commoner's farm. The prelate entered and was greeted by Bowen, who showed him to a chair at a round table opposite Sir Douriff. "Wine, prelate?" "Black-eyeds do not drink." "Ah, well, I hope you do not mind if I indulge. Being on the road takes its toll." Mareth remained silent and waited for Bowen to pour the captain a glass of red. Douriff took a swig and examined the blade. "You are not one for words, so I will spare you. This," he held out a letter with the seal of Lord Lindrel, "is for your consideration." Mareth took the letter and read it. "Prelate, the Blades have long been a neutral party in the politics of the realm. However, I beg you to take notice. Perhaps this recent incident has forced you to already. Trouble is brewing. The lords grow more greedy by the day, and skirmishes have already broken out. I will not stand idly by and let it all go to ruin. Join us. Together we can create a unified state. Imagine, no more petty squabbles and wars to hold us back. Just imagine what we could do with the secrets of the Blades and the industry of Dindra combined, the things that we could build, the research that could be done. Humanity could ascend and surpass the old ones, instead of living in their ruins like rats. If you agree to support Dindra as the center of a unified kingdom, we will rebuild the gate at no cost with the finest steel from Dindra. If not, well, expect to be in debt. Sir Douriff is versed in the details of the contract. You may ask him any questions you desire. Signed, Lord Lindrel of Dindra, King of the Realm." Mareth folded the paper and placed it on the table. Douriff finished off his wine and set his cup down. His bushy eyebrows were furrowed and the wrinkles in his pale white forehead deepened. His lips were pressed together in a thin smile. "So?" "How much?" Mareth asked. "What?" "How much would it cost to pay for the gate?" The captain burst into laughter. You're serious? You think you can just pay for a 30-foot wall of solid oak reinforced with steel, Are the blades rich? Do you have some income that his grace doesn't know about? No. Douriff's face subsided into a flabby grin. Then you only have one choice. I do not believe that is true. The captain's grin faded and his brow dropped. He drummed bony fingers on the desk. You are making a mistake, Blade. Please enlighten me, Sir Douriff. The Blades are the oldest institution of humanity. Without independence, we cannot properly perform our duty to the Black. Douriff bristled. To the Black? What of your duty to man? You read the letter, and you must have heard what it's like in the world. His grace will bring peace. But first he will bring war. The Blade's primary duty will always be to man. Mareth held up a finger to prevent Douriff from interrupting. Part of that duty is not only to protect man from beast, but to protect man from himself. The Black takes life as rampantly as it rewards power, and it must be protected for this reason. I do not know what his grace plans to do if he gains access to the secrets of the Blades, but I can assure you that I will do everything in my power to prevent that from happening. This decision will cost you. You may send me the charge, sir. I believe Bowen will know where to bring it. Mareth left Lord Lindrel's offer on the table. On his way out of the camp, he noticed the executioner sitting in front of a tent, honing his axe. Mareth stopped in front of him. I see you keep your axe sharp, Justice, he said. Always, prelate. The whetstone slid off the axe with a metallic ring. Mareth looked at Douriff's pavilion, then back at the justice. I wonder if you and I could have a word in private. I am sure Lindrel is paying you well, but the Blades may have need of your services. Would you follow me to my study? Gladly. The High Justice smiled.